Are live. Hello, all newcomers, and welcome back, my fellow Aeternians. As always, it's me, Emperor AP, and today we are here in the Garden of Nations. I have a lot to show you guys. Winter has officially arrived here in the garden, and so most everything in our first two beds have died. However, we did plant our third bed with some lettuce in it, so that is still alive and thriving as it is a winter crop. Also, one of our cabbages is still alive and thriving on the other side of our fence. I'm excited to show you all, but let's get started. First, I do, as always, want to shout out the people who make this garden happen. And if you and your nation want to become a part of it, you can contribute. Our micronations from Texas, our beautiful Garden of Nations sign. If you want to get your nation's flag on the nation sign, also on Patreon to do so, I can give, I think there's a link in the description to our Patreon. So, that being the case, let me show you the tragedy of our first bed. If you all remember from previous live streams, this bed had both all three things: cabbage, eggplants, and bell peppers. You can see a lot of these dead bell peppers here. We missed the frost. We should have collected them right before the first frost, and a lot of them did die. We got a good many harvests off this bed, though, so we're not too disappointed. All of this will go back into the ground here, get mulched up, and become fertilizer for this bed, which is great. Pretty soon here, I will, since you've seen, we've gone ahead and chopped all of the dead foliage down. I am going to actually get some more dirt, pile it on top of here, and plant more lettuce in this bed, so that will help us to grow into the winter. Our second bed, if you remember all of the piles and piles and piles of tomatoes that we had hanging all over the front and back of the fence, everywhere, all over this bed, even down to the floor, down to the earth, I should say. We now have, again, cut those back, piled everything here. You can see there are millions of tomatoes that we didn't get to. It is a tragedy. We should have gotten to those. You can see all the ones that were green are now this like gross gray color. They are very much dead and obviously inedible. So we have this bed as well. The of the dirt actually didn't get too low on this one, so we're going to cut all this down and actually put this into our compost pile, and then pile a little bit more dirt on top to start adding additional lettuce and maybe some other crops here for the winter. As you can see, our lettuce is still doing well and thriving. This little baby lettuce plant I thought was going to do really well and perk up for us. He's just not. This is in our third bed here, so what I am going to do is actually remove him for another lettuce plant that we've been growing quite a bit out on our back porch. So we still have our little lettuce growing and thriving out here, doing well. We pick pieces off every once in a while. You can see the harvest, the frost did get to them a little bit. You can see there's a few little wilted leaves here, but for the most part, they are pretty frost tolerant, so they did all right. And they're bouncing back. When we pick the leaves, we just let them go straight back into the bed so that they can add additional nutrients here for the rest of the lettuce. But this is how our third bed is going right now. A little bit slow going. You know, we just kind of pick a leaf or two here, let them keep growing, keep doing their thing. They're still pretty small, so we don't actually want to harvest the hearts of these romaine yet. We just kind of let them do their thing and see how big they'll get over the winter. We haven't really had a fall winter crop before, so this is pretty experimental for us. But with how great these first two beds did, anything on top of that is pretty much just gravy. We were able to save 3 eggplants from this first bed. Even after the frost, they still did all right. They weren't too frozen, so we were able to take them, throw them in the fridge, and we'll probably have them tonight for dinner. But that has been the main things that is going on with the Garden of Nations. Everything we have been doing to try to prepare more for the winter. We also have our quail picked up. I want to talk about that as well, because one of the things that was a tragedy, it wasn't during the first frost, but we had one of our quail who did sadly pass, one of our favorite quail, Ghost. She was a white female quail, one of our egg layers, producer for us. She did unfortunately pass. She got kind of bullied out of her flock. So there was a really wet and cold day right before the frost, and I think she got pushed out of the coverage area by her flock and was kind of getting bullied. So she got pushed off out into the wet and the damp, and I came out the next morning to check and see how all the quail were doing, and unfortunately she had passed away overnight. So we are now down to 3 quail. With that massive tragedy, I took the other 2 females and our rooster, and I put them in our stables. So right now they are in cover in our stables. They're not getting nearly as much sunlight as they did out here, but with that cold and with the wet recently, we wanted to make sure they were dry and they were kept relatively warm. So we do have them artificial lighting going. And what we're trying to do is actually get more solar panels out here so that we can provide them some constant artificial lighting, actually set up a more permanent indoor quail space to continue to not only maintain the flock we have and get them to eventually start laying in a controlled environment where we can make sure they lay all year round and are comfortable and dry and warm, but also so that we can actually start producing more quail, actually incubating them and raising them and expanding our flock. Because we have this large stables area that I can show in a future video, there is a lot more to be done there. So it just made sense, instead of bringing them in and putting them out and bringing them in and putting them out and stressing them and having all those issues, to just get them used to an indoor environment. So as much as we like to have them out here grazing and doing things like that, I think it was a little more natural for them, for their safety and well-being right now, and for our capabilities as a farm, it was best to just bring them in and have them start to set up and be developed in an indoor growing environment. So that being the case, we did have a tragedy with our quail. Our quail flock is still alive, but very much reduced, very much weak, not laying right now. So that's a huge problem for us because that was our only source of protein. We have a few plants that we were able to grow throughout the summer growing season, throughout the spring, and now we got our flock to try to add some protein, try to add some livestock in the mix, and we are just still struggling with that. So hopefully as we get better, as the winter ends and we start getting into next spring, we can expand our flock again, get a little bit stronger, and learn from our mistakes. Let me go ahead and answer some comments, because it's great to see everybody here. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us, spending some time. We haven't had a live stream in a long time, and the Empire of Aeternia is still growing. We're still progressing. We have a lot of development here locally with citizens, a government being developed in more expanse, which is exciting. And so I want to talk about all of that as long as we have time, but I will get to everybody who has been missing us and wanting to see us in the stream, because I miss you guys. Britlandian said, greetings, Britlandian. Thank you so much for being here. Miriam, thank you so much for being here. Miriam said, the air. I did not need to know what I just saw on the server. Oh goodness, I guess I need to check it out. Our Croatian Arkovia says, can we open diplomacy? Absolutely. If you email us at aeternianempire@gmail.com, you can check in the description for our email. We'd be more than happy to reach out. Arthur said hello. Arthur, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate all the videos you make. I've seen them in the past. I'm really grateful for that. I know you make videos adding us regularly. So if you guys aren't supporting Arthur, definitely go and support him. We appreciate the support and the collaboration to that extent. Onyx, Miriam says you have to apply for that. Yeah, absolutely. To actually have an alliance, Miriam is right. We do have an alliance application, which is a part of our website that you can check out. But if you're just trying to open a dialogue between us, you can reach out directly at aeternianempire@gmail.com. NL Boy said, what up, NL Boy? Great to see you. Great to see everybody. Dynamic Umbrella said, I love this nation. We love you. Thank you so much for being here. It means a lot that you're supporting us. Again, we are trying to build and develop our nation, and one of the hardest parts of that is actually bringing in citizens, having people who are able to invest in Aeternia, and that Aeternia is able to invest in them, and making sure that this is a place that is developing enough and is productive enough for people to really put long-term effort into this, and really invest their lives into this. So we have started off small, again with myself, with Tiffany. Now we are growing more and more. We've always had online citizens, people around the world who support us, and that we primarily just keep in communication with. We'll have them do some roles for us, assist us maybe in our Discord server or somewhere else. But it has been tough for the longest time to get local citizens to actually develop in a way that is practical for people who are here to invest more and more and come out here and help us develop and build. And now that we have our two territories, of course, Vitae, which is our capital territory, and Talon and Vine Farm now, our main agricultural and production territory, that's becoming possible for people. So I'm excited to bring up a little bit more about that in a little while. But we do have some other things to get to in this stream as well. Dynamic Umbrella says, how much is your GDP? That is a great question. So I would say it is very low. If you're talking about the production of just the Empire of Aeternia, not my personal income, not any citizen's personal income, but just the income of what is an official operation of the Empire of Aeternia, I'd say it's probably about $50 a month, a little more than $50 a month. That is connected to our Patreon. Our Patreon is pretty small, but it is funded by some very dedicated people. We have, I think, maybe 4 or 5 patrons who actually pay for our Patreon. So if you guys are interested in supporting our Patreon, that would be huge for us. It would help to develop our GDP, which would help us to do more out here. But that being the case, it is very limited. We want to actually invest in projects that will help us to develop that more. We want to start small businesses out here, but all of that comes down to funding. And so first and foremost, I want to get back to doing more here online, to see you guys, to show you guys more frequently what we're doing out here, and to be able to give you guys inspiration for what you can do with your own micronations or in your own personal lives, to develop yourselves and to feel confidence, and to show you guys that we support you in whatever your efforts are. We have been around for nearly a decade. We've been going on 9 years at this point, and so it has been a slow growth from a little bit to where we are now. We didn't have much of any patrons even as of up to the last few years. So growing the way that we are now, I think, is a great indicator for the future. And I just ask you all to keep joining us for the ride in whatever ways you can, by liking the stream, by hanging out with us, by giving us advice on how we can improve our setups, and we will keep going. Okay, so I'm going to jump down. Apparently I do need to jump in the server and fix some stuff. That nerd said, I recommend growing garlic and onion. Might be a little late, but still should grow since they're usually planted in October. I appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely. So I will bring up in this third bed, and we may have done it just wrong, just absolutely wrong, but I'm not sure. We do, in this raised bed here, hold on, it looks like, I thought I had my mic connected. It looks like my mic isn't connected, which is tragic, but that's okay. I will improve another time. For right now, to keep the stream going, I'll go ahead and just not have a mic. I know that's not as great for your guys' audio quality, but let me know if anybody can't hear me or if there's any difficulty with the stream because of it, and I will try to address it as we go. For the moment, I did plant some onion along here. So the way that we did it was, we have one of these plants, and then we should have an onion here. Lettuce plant, onion there. 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 The issue, and then even further back, the issue is we buried them pretty much underneath all of this straw. And we planted seeds. So we may be a little bit late on that. But we're going to try to see what comes up. We're going to hope that we do get some development with our onion. I have no idea what's going to become of that. So we are trying to develop that. Oh, I will bring up as well. I need to water these in just a moment. I guess that's what I'll do. I'll go ahead turn on our water hose. I will water our lettuce and whatever onion may grow up. And then I can show you, we actually have some onion bulbs that we planted because they were growing up. They had already started sprouting their little shoots, and so we ended up doing that. Tiff's trying to help me by turning on the water, but I want to make sure I connect this hose before it sprays me in my face. Okay, there we go. Thank you, Tiff. So, let me see if it works. Not yet. Ooh, it's coming. Oh, there we go. All right, awesome. Okay, so shower mode. Oh, Moondust is running away from me. He's not a fan. Oh gosh, we're bubbling. There we go. All right, so we are trying to plant more. One of the things I wanted to bring up, we have some onion bulbs that were just in our kitchen that ended up starting to sprout. So we planted those, and I can show you guys those as well. They're a little further along, although to be honest with you, since it has been really rough for us here recently, the last week, we just had that real cold snap come in. If you're in the U.S., in the a lot of the Western Hemisphere, I guess north of the equator, you probably experienced that to some degree last week. And so we were having big issues with that. So I really didn't check up on our onions since I planted them a couple weeks ago. But we can do it together. We can find out whether or not our onion is actually developing well. What I'm trying to do here is actually get down to deeper in the soil with our watering. I'm not trying to blast our plants super hard. I'm trying to actually get down to their roots and make sure that we water really deeply. We don't want the water to just sit at the surface. That's a big part of the reason why we have all this straw in our beds, so that we can actually have the water be retained from when we do water, and make sure that we are watering really deeply, and so that the water doesn't just evaporate up off the surface of the dirt. That has served us very well in these 2 garden beds that we built over the summer. And now with our fall garden bed here, it seems to be working decently enough. So again, just going through really thoroughly watering. This is probably plenty, but I like to be extra. I'm just hoping it'll sprout up here soon. But honestly, with them not sprouting in the last few weeks and it being really cold, I am uncertain as to whether they'll sprout at all. But only time will tell. Dynamic Umbrella says say, and then says rip. Upper Egypt, great to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Upper Egypt says it looks awfully warm up there. Yeah, absolutely. So it's wild because we had a cold snap last week, froze all of our plants, killed them. As you can see, our terrible tomatoes now passing away. They were doing so well for so long, and now they just, all of a sudden, one evening, they are gone. They are no longer here. So we are now in a warmer period. It's kind of bounced back, although we are getting deeply into winter. So in the next couple weeks, I imagine we'll just be getting more consistent cold weather, and we won't be able to really sustain the heat anymore. But we're not doing bad for right now. What I'm doing off screen is I'm trying to pull our garden hose so that I can show you guys what our onion is doing, as well as start watering it, because that's going to be a big deal here in a minute. So I'm just pulling our garden hose a little bit. That's not great. Okay, so now let me walk you a little bit more. Let me dodge this bush here. What's up?
The more you go that way, the worse the audio is.
Oh, gotcha. Fair enough. Well, let's see. So these aren't our onions. This is something that's right here. Let me keep walking. See if I can find our onion. Yeah, there they are. They are tragically small right now, but we will see if we can improve them by watering them, getting them a little bit of fertilizer. There they are. not too much bigger than when we, oh, sorry guys, had you the wrong angle. Here they are. Here's one, not too much bigger than when we first planted them, basically a week and a half ago. So they're not doing too much more. I think they're getting a little too much shade right here, but hopefully I can come and cut a little bit of this back down, see if we can get them a little more sunshine. Here's the second one right here. They're trying. I think with a lack of additional sunlight right here, as well as with me not watering them too much, they are not doing great. So I'm going to give them a little water, and I'm going to give them a little bit of fertilizer later, and we'll try to see how they do. Actually, this guy, his bulb is getting a little uncovered. I may not want to overly water him. Try and sprinkle a little bit of dirt back on him. I don't know how well that'll help, but give it a shot. Same thing here. Just going to lightly water this guy, keep the soil moist around him, see how well that works. So we do have these two little onions. I don't think we're actually going to get much out of these because, of course, the bulb's already formed on these, but it will give us some onion seeds, which will be really nice. We'll get some onion seeds, and we'll also get some of those greens. So that'll be cool for adding in to our cooking. Okay. Let's see. Upper Egypt said, down in Canada, we're getting our first snowfalls. Oh, wow. Good luck. It's going to get terrible really quickly. 4 feet of snow, here we come. Oh, goodness. You're going to have to shovel some driveways, shovel some roads. That's rough. We're here in Alabama, so we're a good bit further south than you all, a little closer to the equator. So we don't get it nearly as bad, but people here are not prepared for it at all. So people drive like crazy. It's people aren't built for it here. You guys are a special bunch to be able to survive in such harsh winters. It is incredible to see how the culture and stuff develops in different places because of those weather patterns, temperature swings. Miriam says, this cold for us. I wish I had the money, but the economy's cooked for me right now. Completely understand. I think that's how a lot of micronations are. It's very slow going. It's very hard to build things up, even for us. $50 a month is just out of the luck and kindness that we have got from so many different people. Again, 4 is get them out to our patrons early. Check out our Instagram, check out our TikTok when you get time. All of those places we want to be posting more, and in fact the idea is to eventually get a citizen and maybe even promote them to a government to run that regularly, and to try to have them some perks and benefits that incentivize them to be really consistent with that, so we can try and all pitch in and help out. Of course, we have our other two members of government. David Morris as the right of Talon. He is in the House of Solace. He helps to manage this territory, Talon Vine Farm. And then we have the Vanguard of Vitae, the person who manages, again through the House of Solace, manages our capital territory of Vitae and its slow but steady development, Joey Beck, who is another one of our citizens and government officials through the House of Solace. Those two are the only two nobles in the houses, other than myself currently. We did have our pact bearer, James Worrell, who we are so lucky to have. He is still an amazing citizen, someone who is incredibly honored with us and through us, but he has unfortunately had to take a leave of absence because of his schooling. He is going through college, and we're incredibly proud of him for that. So we're rooting him on from the sidelines, wishing him the best, and eager for his return. So that being the case, we are now trying to actually expand to getting more citizens. We have one of our newest citizens, Fred Gilman, who is not a part of our government, but he is somebody who is becoming a recruiter for us locally. So that's something incredibly exciting. We're trying to work with him as best we can to help him develop his vision for how he sees what we do here in Aeternia actually impacting and benefiting people in our local community, and trying to figure out what it takes for us to be a place that those people want to congregate and want to invest themselves. So I'm super eager to see what Fred does with the role, and I hope that it's something that we can quickly promote and build into a larger part of the inner workings of the Empire. But I do have another treat for you guys to actually show some progress that the Rite of Talon has done here on Talon and Vine Farm and helping us develop. So let me pick up our water hose, throw it off to the side, shut off our water so we're not wasting water, costing our economy even more money, and I will be back to show you guys in a little bit. What I'll do is I'll show you this beautiful field as of the moment, and then I'm going to sprint off to try and pick this up, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back, and I have a large axe. And you might ask why I have a large axe. And it is because we have a lot of our previous projects that have partially developed that we've been trying to expand to, doing more and more and more with. And so we've officially checked the boxes that will help us to move forward with all of that. And that is firewood storage. One of the last goals for the Rite of Talon here to do group for reading. Okay, I'm just going to walk to another area and hope it proves the connection. So economy to another area and hope it proves the connection. So economy, big ways that we want to do that is via our metalworking industry. So that being the case, I want to show you guys one of the things that we are up with that. We have our firewood storage that he came up with as a great way for us to be able to use that pallet wood and to apply it to something that will immediately be beneficial for us. So I went out pretty recently and gathered us a bunch of old dry wood. This is wood. I'm going to block the sunlight so you can see it a little better. This is wood that is actually just rotten, that was gathered up from around the farm. This is downed trees already, trees that have been downed for probably years and have just been decaying out around the farm. So this is a little small piece. Obviously we're not going to chop that up, but we do have some bigger pieces right here in our wheelbarrow that we will take over to our new firewood storage. I can show you guys the firewood storage area and actually chop up some of this firewood and add it to our storage, so you guys can help us to make progress today in the development of our furnace and in actually building up our material resources and our stockpile. Because previously, when we tried to have more like cultural events like our bonfires, when we've tried to work on creating like charcoal and stuff like that, one of the biggest issues is that we have wet wood. We're just gathering up wood from off the ground and trying to use it, and it's wet and it doesn't work well, and it takes a long time to get started, and even once it gets started, there's a lot of issues with moisture. It doesn't burn as cleanly. There's, it's smoking a lot. There's a lot of issues with that. So having this nice dry wood, especially on a dry day like today, chopping it up and then storing it properly will allow us to keep some nice dry wood from whenever we want to have another bonfire for our citizens, whenever we want to start making charcoal again, and however we want to use that wood for imperial production, even using it as mulch in our garden. So there's lots of opportunity there, and I'm excited to get into it with you guys to help make the empire just a little bit better each and every day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw this axe in our wheelbarrow. I might throw you guys in our wheelbarrow if you can hang on, and then I will do that. Actually, what I'll do is I'll probably carry you guys over to the fence, quickly wheelbarrow around, and then I will meet back up with you guys. So right now, throw my axe in here, grab you guys, we'll take a little walk, and I'll talk with you. I'll set you down to show you where we're going to start chopping, and then we can move forward with our plans. Oh, Tiff wants to grab onto you guys, so I'm going to leave you guys in her trusting care. So give me just 1 second and I'll grab the wheelbarrow. Okay. The issue is we're right in the sun, so I don't want to do that. I want to show everybody our firewood. Stand. Let me show you guys what we have so far. First off, here it is. It's beautiful, it's chic, and it even has shingles. Look at that. This by David, the Right of Talon. And so, Tiffany bringing up the wheelbarrow. Thank you, Tiff. So far, that's the wood that we have stockpiled. Not anything too crazy, but it is valuable. We do have more wood now to be able to use for whatever our purpose. And what I plan to do is grab some more pieces of wood, like this big guy, with you guys here, and chop this up. Now, ideally, what we would have, and what people visiting Talon and Vine have brought up to us before, what I think people on live streams have brought up before as well, is that ideally I would have a big stump. In order to chop firewood real nicely, you'd have a big stump, and then I'd swing my axe, bring it down onto the piece of wood on top of that big stump, and that just allows me to put a lot more power into that piece of wood. It doesn't make me hurt my back by going all the way down the ground with the axe. I can stop right there, keep my back straight. It's all around a lot better a process, but we do not have a stump as of right now for that. However, that is a next step to improve our firewood cutting. We have now firewood storage, which is great. Tiff's waving by. Tiff, thank you for your help. And so, pretty soon, I'm actually cutting a log that was from a down tree that is massive. So, whenever I get all the way through that with a handsaw, like I'm brutally doing, slowly but surely, we will be able to have that stump placed out here, and then I can actually do some nicer firewood cutting with you guys. What's up?
When you're that far from the phone, your audio is real low. So I don't want to on your mic and chopping.
I can't.
It's dead.
My phone's charging port doesn't work. So. No mic. Yep. But I do appreciate you guys. Tiff's listening to the stream. She's trying to help with the audio, you guys. So if you get any improvement from my audio, thank Tiff. If there's any issues with the audio, blame me. I'm having issues with the charging port on my phone right now. I'm having to use one of those wireless chargers to charge it. So At some point I'd like to get that fixed, and then we can go ahead and use the mics again, which will help. But I'm gonna go ahead and start to chop that up. Hey, Davidson, the right of Talon is here. Great to see you, David. He said audio sounds fine. Why the straw? Why the straw in the raised beds? We like to have the straw in the raised beds simply because it will help us to keep that moisture in. But I may be super late on that message. If you guys see his username's JV Dones, he is David, the right of Talon, a citizen, a government official here, a noble in the House of Solace. So we're super grateful to have David here as the right of Talon. Upper Egypt said, should I join the Aeternia server? That would help us out a lot, absolutely. Also, real quick, that nerd said, onion seeds usually take 2 years to fully develop. I usually use onion sets, which are onions grown for the first year for a faster harvest. Oh, wow. Okay, so that's hilarious. So we're not going to have onions in there for 2 years, which will probably, I appreciate you bringing that up, that'll probably be completely wasted on us because we're going to dig that bed up after the winter harvest and replant for the spring. So we will probably ruin that entirely, but that is good to know. We should start onion seeds 2 years ahead of time. So thank you for bringing that up. Onyx says, I can feel the wells of disgust in my stomach filling, making me vomit with what Buddy just sent me. Oh goodness, let me know and I will try to eliminate that when I can get into the server. We need a moderator. We need a citizen to come in and be a moderator of the server. That would be great and very helpful, but it is an issue. David said, I did not know about James. Yes, absolutely. That is a very recent thing as of yesterday. I'm sorry to be announcing it on stream as the first way that I am announcing it. My actual plan was to have the first announcement be at our next government meeting, which we have one every month, if you guys didn't know. I really want to make a video about our government. Part of the issue with making a video about our government has been just getting the time to make an edited video. And another issue has been there is fluctuation in our government. It's still growing and developing, but I really did want to make that announcement more officially in our government meeting this coming at the end of this month, and I still plan to do that. So we will have a discussion about that, David, in more detail than I will share here on the live stream. But I did want to let everybody know. I want to be transparent about that and just say, you know, it's sad because we, of course, will miss James, but he's still an honored citizen here. He's still somebody that we really appreciate, and we just need to give him that time to be able to develop his education. So that's it's sad, but it's good. It's a good thing for his life, and eager to see him thrive in that. And it'll also, honestly, probably be a great benefit to us if he chooses to come back to government work for us. That would be incredible, with more skills, more knowledge, and more experience under his belt. Okay. Give me one moment. I do want to keep answering comments, but I am going to go ahead and start chopping some of this wood so that I can get to doing what I said I'd do. I hope you guys can see all right. I don't know if you can, but I got this one. Oh, we have a big spider building up his little home, his little habitat. Can you guys see right here? Yeah, I think so. Just in case, I'll move back a little more. Yep, missed that guy entirely. This is why people have the stump. There we go. There we go. Almost knocked you guys out. Sorry about that. Once again, thank you, David, for helping us build this. I actually haven't been able to put out the video this week of David and I building this, but it was really fun to get to do, and it will pay off for us for a long time to come. Now this guy's because it's just like a long skinny piece. I don't know how well this is going to chop, but we're going to try it. Will it chop? Yes. And again, a lot of this is like dry rotted. Inside, I'll show you guys, there's a good bit of moisture in here right now. So this is part of the reason we're chopping it up. Again, this is just rotten wood. It's been through all of the rain that we've had here, all of the frost in the little bit that we've had recently. So we need to be able to bust this stuff up, get it to dry out a little bit better, and stay dry is the most important thing. Over time, the more that we cut it up, the more it will wick out into little pieces, the more the moisture will wick out from the wood. But it won't if we keep re-wetting it every time the rain comes. So this is a big help for us. And I try to get different sizes because when you're starting a fire, you want to have different sizes so that you can get different, your stacking built up when it burns. You want to start burning small pieces, then get bigger and bigger and bigger to things that'll burn longer, but may take a lot more heat to get started. So I'm hoping to get a good variety of sizes here. That way we can build up for whatever we're doing. Whether it be little small pieces, something like this or this for charcoal, or big long pieces for when we're just doing a big bonfire, something like that. Different sizes for different uses. It'll all come in handy. But especially since a lot of these pieces I've gathered are pretty long and skinny, might as well chop them into kind of some medium to small pieces, get a big stockpile of those going. There we go. So, I mean, we're doing a good bit of chopping here, and this thing isn't even like halfway filled. It's maybe a quarter filled, maybe. Yeah, I don't know if I'm getting through this piece. I don't know about that. This one might just have to stay like it is. Let me try chopping along the grain. See if that helps. But I think I'm just kind of busting it up. Kind of works. Nah, I'm gonna call this piece. But yeah, great to see everybody here. I also, in just a minute, I want to show off our actual furnace because we do have some upgrades with that. We have a good bit more that will need to be upgraded with it. There's a lot to do. The main front part of it, where the airflow comes in, has kind of caved in, so repairs are needed, but it is a little more upgraded. This guy's pretty good, and I think the rest of these pieces are pretty good. So I just grabbed a little bit of firewood for today, but that helps. Not anything too crazy, but this is an addition to our firewood storage. Let me just show you guys once again, real quickly, how this is going for us. Show you guys the beauty of our firewood storage. Maybe I'll give you kind of an angle, show you a more cinematic look at our firewood storage here. Look at that. back up a little bit, really give you guys a nice shot of it. Absolutely beautiful. And again, this is thanks to David, the Right of Talon. We also have some plans for the rest of our pallet wood, some more of our pallet wood for stuff for the garden. We've talked a little bit about stuff like that. We also have plans even for vitae as we get out there and are developing more and more. There will be more reasons to get more pallet wood and do more stuff. So there is a lot to be done with pallet wood, but this is just one example of how we've taken a few scrap pallets. Just you can see it's made of 2 pallets, one horizontal, one vertical, and then a couple pieces from a pallet, kind of some of these supporting pieces, and a scrap large piece of wood that we had that was kind of a flat piece of plywood, and of course our shingles. So that's really all it took. It took us a little while to actually get it all drilled and screwed together, but this thing will last a while. I mean, this thing is relatively sturdy for what we're trying to use it for, and I'm very proud of it. So again, thank you, David, as the Right of Talon, helping us to develop Talon and Vine Farm. Bellamy said, "Hi, it's me, Bellamy. I used to be Cochico. We are neutral now. Not the topic for this comment, but we have started a bike business to buy land." I saw that in the Discord server. Congratulations on your business. That's an exciting proposition. Okay. Also, can you guys hear me all right? Let me know. David says, "I'll complete the sides of the firewood storage when I return to the farm." That means a lot. Absolutely. I think it's not too bad, honestly. I mean, sure, it would help, but it's really not too bad. It allows us to kind of walk from all sides and access it. I really don't think this is that crazy. The main issue was actually getting some kind of a roof overhead, and we have done that. So I think it's doing decently, and I think it'll work for our purposes. Okay, let me show you guys one other thing while we're out here on this side of Talon and Vine Farm, and that is, of course, the furnace. This is our furnace. If you have seen any of our previous live streams, we had a much smaller section of our furnace, and it looked like this. So originally, we had this. I'll do a side-by-side comparison for you guys. So that little piece over there was what was originally stacked up. I'll squat right here so you guys can see everything. That piece over there was what was originally stacked up where this larger barrel is now. And the way that it works is air comes into this little inlet right here, flows in, because the field out behind you all, and I can turn and show you, this field out here, as you can see, has a dip down that kind of comes up over a little hill and then follows into this air channel. Now you can see we're having some issues, like this brick is just open and exposed. There's a lot of areas that aren't actually covered up well, so it's not making a good wind tunnel. However, we're trying to improve our setup such that when we do get our channel fixed here, this large barrel is actually increasing the intensity of the airflow that we will get. And you say, you know, well, why does that make sense? That smaller barrel right there is lower to the ground. How's that going to actually encourage more to get sucked in? Well, this channel right here, once it is fixed and improved, we can widen and continue to make larger and larger, which the wider an opening it has, and the more that it's able to channel in, the more air pressure will be forced right here. As well, the way that this works is it's not actually pushing the air down underneath, it's actually sucking the air in. And that is because of the wind and the air pressure up on the top of this. Now, whether we're using this smaller barrel or this larger barrel, the idea is that the wind that flows over the top of the barrel is actually what is creating a sucking effect. So by the wind moving on top of it, it is creating a pressure difference, which creates a pressure difference inside of the barrel and goes further and further down until that pressure difference is so extreme that it creates a slight sucking effect. Inside of this channel, you can feel that there is a kind of a very slight upward draft. Now, this isn't very extreme for a number of reasons, one of which is that our channel isn't well built. As well, our sides around our barrel here are not well insulated. However, when you have a fire going inside of this chamber, inside of this barrel, that magnifies this effect. The higher that we have this barrel up, the more that there is a pressure difference between the top of the barrel, where there is more access to higher speed winds than right at the ground level, and that causes this pushing effect up top, which creates a more extreme sucking effect so long as you have a wide and well insulated channel for it to flow into, pull up. And then when we add a heat source in here, when we add fire, as you all may know, heat rises. So as we are building a large fire in here, it is actually sucking and pushing that hot air out of the top, which is getting caught by the wind and pulling it, creating that sucking effect more and more and more, and it creates a pretty significant little, I wouldn't necessarily call it an engine effect, but it creates this forced oxygenation of the fire. You know, instead of having it just be passively oxygenated by the air, having oxygen come and kind of hit it, it is forcing oxygen up underneath that fire, which causes the bottom of the fire to burn hotter, which causes more of the material on the top of the fire to get heated more rapidly, which causes more heat to build in this channel, which causes more heat to be trapped in this larger channel as opposed to the smaller one, which causes an even more extreme upward draft. That even more extreme upward draft is hit by this wind, which causes more sucking, and it keeps magnifying that effect. So this will be great for a number of purposes. You would ask, okay, well, so you have this upgrade, why would you do all of that just for bonfires? For bonfires, it's not necessary. I will say one advantage is when you have a bonfire, if you just build a fire on the ground, you may feel it get warm, but you have to build a quite large fire in order to get it very hot and to radiate out close to you. You'll notice that if you build a fire that's low to the ground, you need to kind of hover over the fire or get really close to the sides of the fire to be able to feel that heat. As you build a bigger fire, it radiates outward more and more intensely, but there's still a limit to that. With this system, we can build a fairly small fire, equivalent to what you would build on the ground, and yet the smaller fire here, because of this big metal barrel, like I said, it traps that heat. It also creates a more intense burning and oxygenation of that fire, so the fire is burning more intensely, means it's burning a little bit hotter for the same amount of fuel, the same amount of wood that you're putting in there, or charcoal, or whatever else. But the other thing is that this is a large metal barrel, and this large metal barrel is conductive to the heat, which means that as that heat builds up in here, it's not only your fire that is giving you that heat that radiates out, it's this entire barrel. So instead of having just where the fire is trying to heat up the surrounding air, it is all of this surface of the barrel that heats up the surrounding air. So this thing pumps out a lot of heat really intensely. So you can sit a few chairs around here and it's really quite nice. The other thing is inside of this, it is incredibly, incredibly hot when you're burning a fire, which means that we can get charcoal to burn really well and to create our charcoal, which we hope to do in larger and larger batches at some point. That'll be really efficient for it. It'll also be nice because eventually we want to heat molds in here. If you've seen any of our videos in years past about our metalworking industry, part of the way that we actually make metal objects is by creating casts of them, creating molds of them, and then getting hot molten metal from our furnace and from our crucible and our forge, and pouring that metal from our forge into one of those molds. But the molds need to be really hot, otherwise the metal cools down so fast that it causes cracks in the piece that we're trying to build, or it causes the piece to not form fully because the hot liquid metal cools down before it can get into all the cracks and details of the mold that we're trying to make, all the crevices. And so if we have that mold heated a lot hotter, a lot quicker, then it makes for a nicer pour, it makes for a nicer cast, it makes for a nicer final product. And it means that we can use higher temperature materials like copper or steel or something like that to be able to cast pieces in, and not just lower temperature metals like aluminum. So this will be really helpful for that as well. Again, this has a lot of work that needs to be done on it, but it is not a bad start. The other cool thing about this is that as we get that going, this design is really nice because it's just on the ground. So what we can actually do is we can get our mold, and I want to build a grate inside of here so that we can sit our mold onto the top of that grate, and then we just move our barrel. We just move our barrel off to the side when we actually want to go ahead and pour. I placed it the wrong way. When we want to go ahead and pour our metal into our mold, all we have to do is move that barrel to the side, and then the hot cast, the hot mold that we've been heating in this big furnace can just sit right where it was. We don't have to try and pick it up and move it and bump it and risk breaking it. We don't have to pick it up and let it hit all the cold air that's outside of it. We can just rapidly move this heat source, rapidly move this barrel, still have the mold on top of the heat source that it's been heated by, and then pour our hot liquid metal directly onto that hot mold, so that we risk cracking the mold less, we risk messing up the product less, and it doesn't really affect our furnace at all, because the furnace was already at such a high temperature that pouring the molten metal on top of it doesn't really do much. So this is the start of something that will hopefully advance our industries much more quickly in the future, and that firewood storage is the first step to making this more and more usable. David said, everyone please donate this man battery powered tools. Absolutely. We have been using old school hand tools out here a bunch. We have a few gas powered tools, but even those we're like trying to get them up and running. They're not working. Oh! Timber! Sorry I attacked you guys. Those tools aren't like up and running real well. So everything that we are dealing with right now is pretty much hand tools. So if you guys do have battery powered tools that you want to donate, or if you can support us on Patreon, help us get some battery powered tools, that would do a lot for our development out here at Talon and Vine, and ultimately at Vitae as well. Dynamic Umbrella says, how do you feel like mixing nations, like joining names, like for example your nation joined to Upper Egypt? Interesting. That's a great question. If that's for me, I don't know. I think as far as like the concept of nations mixing their names and their cultures, I think that really goes into the details of like the leadership and like the people who are a part of those nations. That can be really complex. It's a cool thing if you can do it, but I imagine in practice it's a lot harder to do, if that makes sense. Bellamy says, do you want an urbanized city in your micronation, or do you want like a small village with less than 50 people? That's a great question. I would say it depends on how much capital we can put together, right? It depends on how much we can develop as a group. That's really, really tough, because we are trying to develop to take care of people. So our first job is to make sure that the citizens that we do have are well fed, clothed, have electricity to their homes, have proper waste management, things like that, that the people that we do have are well taken care of, and that they feel like this is their home, that they feel like they can live their lives comfortably, and that they don't have many worries outside of that. That they have a strong quality of life. That is one of our primary tenets. That is our cause. So then beyond that, we want to get as many people as possible. Now, does that mean that out here at Talon and Vine Farm, we're suddenly going to start building skyscrapers? Probably not. But the idea is that these different places that we're developing have different purposes. So for example, our capital, Vitae, it's only 3 acres. It's not nearly the size of Talon and Vine Farm, which is quite a bit more, quite a bit larger, over 10 acres. So that being the case, Vitae is going to be a place that is more residential. It is designed to have more citizen dwellings in there, more residencies there. Now, does that mean we won't build any more new residencies at Talon and Vine Farm? I don't know. I don't know how the future it will be laid out, but I do know that the primary purpose of Talon and Vine Farm is as our agricultural production and as our industrial production. So the idea would be to kind of have specific goals and specific purposes for each territory. So if we wanted to say, hey, all of a sudden, the Empire of Aeternia is really growing. It's got a lot of economic mobility. It's got a lot of development going. We've been able to provide a really strong quality of life for all of our citizens and residents so far. We just have the money to expand more. Instead of building crazier and crazier structures at our territories, we would probably just try to purchase new territories and try to upgrade those. Maybe make them more urbanized centers to allow for an increased population density. Try to develop more as far as our offerings to those citizens and being able to expand the utilities and social services that we offer. So we want things that are urbanized. We want to be modern. We want to develop for the future. We are a micronation that believes in progress. Our guide of foundation and principles is all based on the arrow of progress. It's based around the concept that we are a nation which can lead people into the future, that can build a society that not only takes care of its people, but that also provides them a way to build sustainably and successfully into whatever the future holds for humanity, and actually trying to expand that, trying to be at the forefront of that, trying to be the most advanced we possibly can, and competing for the most successful and advanced society on Earth. So right now we are primarily just trying to meet all the criteria of taking care of our citizens, making the Empire of Aeternia the best place to live possible. And right now that's limited because we have limited population actually living here. We're trying to develop that more and more. We actually have a house here on Talon and Vine Farm, which we are trying to develop so that the right of Talon himself, David here in the live stream, can come and live here and be one of our first residents here at Talon and Vine Farm, and our first resident ever in the Empire of Aeternia. So that'll be incredibly exciting, and once we can get him set and situated and be able to provide more for our own feeding purposes, for taking care of our food budget, for David's food budget, being able to provide more in terms of electricity and waste management and water and all sorts of other things, producing those independently here, as well as providing more economically, being able to provide jobs for our people, being able to provide opportunities for their investment and their success, then we will be trying to expand outward more and more. I hope that makes sense. Let's see. Dynamic Umbrella, great to see you. Bellamy said, I can hear, big upgrade. Science lesson, love science. Wendy, can't hear. Sorry about that, Bellamy, but thank you so much for supporting us. David said, are you writing this down, Bellamy? Very cool. David said, it'll be on the test. Yes, absolutely. After this, everybody log into the test taking service. We will be taking a test on this. No cheating, no Googling. This will be on the final exam. Bellamy said, I had my first snow 4 days ago. David asked if that's the first snow he's ever experienced. And then he said no this year. That makes sense. Also, Bellamy asked, do you need wood? Well, we just kind of upgraded, got a lot more wood. So right now we're doing okay. But we are expanding more and more on our pallet wood, our wood that we're using to actually build structures like our firewood storage, and we are building up our actual firewood stockpile as well. So it seems like we're doing okay on wood right now, but we'll let you know if we need some more. Dynamic says if you did mix nations, that possibly means like since you were in Alabama, you could have one that's in Ohio or other countries like the United Kingdoms, which could expand your nation in theory. Absolutely, and that's something we've actually talked about. That's a concept that James, our pact bearer, who, like I said, has recently had to step down from his government position, he's floated that idea before in the past, where it would be great if we had a way to better connect with other nations and try to bring them into the Empire of Aeternia. I don't think we'd necessarily be trying to combine the nations and make them into something different. I think we would, in that case, want to actually absorb those nations into the Empire of Aeternia and have them actually adopt the culture and the identity of being Aeternian. That being the case, we do um, we do want to try to provide as much opportunity for that as possible. And I think the way we would ultimately go about that, if we were truly trying to, you know, um, uh, take in another nation as a part of our own and develop that, would be to purchase it, to actually purchase the land that that nation is on, to provide financing and support for the development of infrastructure there, to get it to its best potential, as we would do with any other imperial territory, like we're doing right now. Um, Dynamic says, what if you guys coded a message app for nations? That would be incredible. I mean, we use Discord right now, so if you have ideas on that, that would be very cool. Let us know. Um, while we are out here, what I'm going to probably do is spend a little bit of time showing off and trying to upgrade this airflow for our furnace. When we have a little bit more time at the end of the stream, after I finish this, I'm going to get some gloves to do this. But after I finish rebuilding our airflow for our furnace, the next thing I want to do, we have developed the Hall of the Empire to look a little fancier. Nothing too crazy, but it is getting a little bit better in there. It's getting a little more exciting. So I want to show you guys the Hall of the Empire, what we've done with it so far, and how we're planning to continue going. So please keep tuned in for that. And also please like the video. The more that you guys like the video, the more that you guys hang out, the more that we get a boost in our support, the more that we are able to get closer to monetization, which will be another way that our economy can grow from like, I think right now it said that we could average like $20, $30 a month, consistently with our live streams and stuff like that, if we were able to hit monetization. So that would mean a huge deal for us. But give me just 1 second. David says, I'm interested in seeing the upgraded hall. Yeah, absolutely. I really do want to show that. David, in fact, the Right of Talon, being one of the managers over the manager really over this territory, talk to us about that. Our other noble, Joey, the Vanguard of Bate, also expressed interest in seeing the hall developed, and trying to beautify it a little bit more, trying to get it more reflective and more exciting of how the Empire looks. And so I'm excited to bring out that feel in everybody, trying to showcase the little bit we've done so far. Give me 1 second to grab my gloves, and I'm going to upgrade this, and then we'll get to it. Okay, I don't know if you guys can hear me, but I am back, trying to get my gloves on and carefully hop this fence. Yeah, all right. Hello, everyone. We are back, and I am about to get to this. David says log cabins seem pretty nice. Absolutely. It would be cool to see Bellamy Village develop some log cabins. Okay, so let me see. I probably just need to redo this whole thing. I don't know if you guys can hear me too well, but I'm gonna try to just redo this whole thing.
Look at us. Hey. Hey.
Oh, hey. Tiff got a lot of. Hey. What are you doing with all this hay, bud?
Here's what I pulled up.
Hey, I'm pretty impressed.
How many more times are you going to say hey?
As many times as it takes. Hey.
Well, put it on the compost pile.
Alright. Tiff is gonna march that over to the oh gosh, I'm turning you guys. Seems as though Tiff is gonna march that over to the compost pile. Good luck, Tiff. We're rooting on you. Rooting on you, goodness. Rooting for you. Okay. There we go. So, now trying to do more with this. I think my issue originally was that I tried to put this down horizontally like this. I probably should have started by stacking them vertically, though that will mean making the channel a little bit smaller actually. That's not ideal, but it is something that would probably be valuable to do. So I'm going to scrape all this out. Ah! Oh, she's offering me water. Life-saving sustenance. Thank you, bud. So, I'm going to do the other side, pull this all back. And see if we can't keep stacking. Now, part of the issue is this has become an ant pile, so I am digging through an ant pile right now, which is a little dangerous. I don't recommend it. However, it's going to help us to actually get set in what we want to do. So what we really need to be able to do is to get this and set it probably up more like this, where we actually just lay these things off to the side one by one, vertically. Now again, that makes for a lot narrower tunnel, which is going to suck. Not nearly the airflow we'd like, but it's enough and should be enough. So what I'll try and do is actually dig this out a little wider. If you guys can hear me all right, let me know. But I'm going to try and dig this out a little bit better so we have a wider tunnel. That way when I stack this up, we want it to be about a brick wide. There we go. Yeah, I think that'll do well. Nice V shape. I kind of want to make it a little more straight though. Have these sit down a little more flat so it's not too big a concern. Again, just trying to dig this out, making sure we have it to where the ground actually flows up into this tunnel. If we have it to where this section is higher, the front is higher than where the air is trying to flow into, it will reduce the efficiency by a lot. So we actually need to make certain that the front is a lot lower than the back. Okay. So now that I've gotten a million ants in my gloves and have destroyed the home of a species in Aeternia, absolutely tragic, I think I can now begin to start stacking a little bit better. But we'll see. Yeah, that's not too bad. Still not doing great though. Really need this to be just as well scraped out as it possibly can be, so these things can sit as flat as possible. We don't need it perfect, but we need it pretty good. And that's up. Maybe that's actually a little too far away. What about this? Yeah, that's pretty decent. What I can actually do is take some of this excess dirt that I've been piling up and throw it behind these guys, so that way we can get them to sit up a little more straight. And now we're actually making the shape of what this will eventually become. So now we pile these bricks, and look at that, they sit really well, really sturdily, and we don't have to worry too much about issues with them. So we'll keep doing that. If it's not sitting right, I'm gonna have to keep scraping out, seeing if I can straighten it, try to dig down a space for it to sit more comfortably, and then prepare our next set of bricks to stack. We want this to be as uniform as possible, because it doesn't have to be perfect, but the better we get it before we actually finish setting up our bricks, the better the final product will turn out in the end. So we want to make sure nothing's getting pulled away too much or having too many issues with its sturdiness. And that seems like it's doing decently right about there. So that's good. Okay, now, like I said, I'm going to try and take this, backfill as much as possible, try and build up a decent section here for these guys.
Look at how dark.
Oh wow. Tiff's showing off our compost. This has been our compost pile over the last few months we've been here at Talon and Vine, and it is getting pretty dang dark. That's wonderful. In comparison to just the regular soil here, you can see kind of dry, crumbly. That is a good bit darker. We are getting some nutrients built into our soil here. That is nice. It doesn't show up as well on camera, but there is a stark difference there. Oh, excuse me. Yeah. This stuff looks like sand almost, and that looks like actual dirt. Amazing. So, now continuing trying to build that up. This may be counterintuitive. What I'm also going to do is put some dirt down here in the bottom and kind of compact in the bottom of these bricks. And the reason I'm doing that, even though it is going to restrict our airflow some, is to make sure that the bricks aren't encouraged to move too much. We want to really build them in a structure where they don't feel like they can slip and slide real easily. So the better we can build that structure up now, the better our final product will be. So I'm going to just scrape this out a little bit more, ensure we can keep placing our bricks like we need to. Here we go for this third. Might need a little bit of dirt underneath there for this guy. There we go. Okay. I'm going to set another one up into place. Oh, this guy's getting moved, jostled around. How are we doing here, Tiff? She's giving me her gloves. I appreciate it, Bob. I think I'm doing okay at the moment, but we will see. Now again, trying to pack this in as best as possible. Grab another brick. Grab this guy. See if I can set them up. Again, doing decently. And now I need to take and backfill. Ooh, be careful with that because that's a little unsteady right there. Excuse me. Thanks, bub. Tiff's trying to help me to make sure that this stays nice and developed like we want it to. So I'm trying to go in and backfill. Yes, there are lots of ants. This is a big ant pile, unfortunately. Excuse me, Tiff. So, I think that'll about be good for our initial setup, and then we'll keep expanding it. The only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get, hey, perfect. I was looking for one more brick, and we have one more brick. So, I should be able to dig this out again, just a little bit right here. Lay this brick in decently flat. And set up our structure here. With a little bit more precision, and then kind of backfill in these places to make sure that our bricks lay flat. Yeah, that would be appreciated. Nice. Okay. So now we're getting the structure more and more set in place. Nice. Okay, so now we have our little tunnel made. As you can see, it's pretty decent, and it's getting down to go lower and lower and lower as it comes out here, which is exactly what we want. So then all we got to do is take this dirt like we did previously and just start packing it back in. The issue is a lot of grass and stuff has grown up where it was developed originally, so now trying to move it is a little bit of a headache, but that's all right. We're just trying to, dang, got ants in my gloves.
I thought the story was ants in your pants.
Ants in our gloves. If we're not careful, there might be ants in our pants. We just got to make sure we don't let them in. Okay, so this is doing decently. Gonna grab some more soil. Just keep packing that in everywhere we can. Grabbing from as many areas as we can to try and pack that in and slowly build our mound up. A big part of this too is getting like root structures and things like that in here. Even though that stuff will burn away as we get hotter and hotter fires that end up in this, the nice thing is that we are able to slowly but surely build up a structure that will last for us. So let me see if I have this pointed down well enough to show you guys. Here is the structure that we're working on. See if I can put you guys set up on some mounds so that we have you aimed in the right spot. Here we go. That's what we're doing. We're just grabbing this dirt, grabbing these rocks, grabbing this wherever we can, and just piling it up, moving this dirt, trying to make sure that it gets as covered as possible so that our structure lasts. And now, not quite strong enough to stand on, but it's almost there. And that's what we want. We want a structure that is embedded in the ground and is really, really sturdy. Also, thank you guys for 5 likes. That means a lot. You guys are helping us to grow up the channel with each like, with each little bit of support here. So, as we can keep going, slowly but surely, we keep making this structure more and more stable. Pretty quickly, that may be where we call it. I really wanted to see if I can get all of this covered up, but we'll see how well it works out. Hey, love. Oh, thank you. Tiffany's helping us out to get our structure built a little quicker with a little shovel. Having a tool never hurts. Now what we can do, which will make this a lot quicker, is we can actually get big pieces of roots that are in the ground here. Get big chunks of dirt like this that have all this nice root packing in there to make it real dense. We can just go ahead and shove that right onto our setup. So now we're going to have plants that, not as much right now in the winter, but in the spring and summer especially, will grow back over it, and will make this an even more beneficial setup. So once again, going in here, grabbing some nice thick root structure just for fun. Tiff asked why I keep putting my butt in front of the camera. Not on purpose, but it happens. I should probably just walk around the back of the camera. Sorry for mooning you guys. Getting more of this with that root structure on it. Trying to shove it up there. Get everything nice and packed in. Okay, and then where it's not as densely packed, we can go in and actually backfill with some looser dirt. That way we can fill in any gaps or any issues we have there. And we are almost done with this. Slowly but surely, building it up. And then it is off to the hall of the Empire, to see our progress, and again walking in front of the camera to show you all how we've been developing there. So that'll be another little treat for you guys just as soon as we can get out there. Well, in there, I suppose, to show you guys the hall. Okay. Just continuing to mound this up right here. Keep our structure building, and we are almost done. All right. So this isn't too bad. It's absolutely not finished, but, excuse me, but this is a lot more insulated than it was, both in terms of keeping heat in as well as keeping airflow restricted down to this channel. So this will do us a lot of good here. Over time, as rain comes in, as winds hit this, as more ants come and build their homes back in here, this will become a more and more uniform pile until the point that we have that nice insulated structure we're looking for. So this is pretty good. Let me see if it improved our airflow. You can't really tell too much, honestly. Right now it feels fairly stagnant. There isn't too much wind going on, but as we get larger gusts of wind, I'm sure we'll be able to feel that a little bit better. But I will show one more time. Da, 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 da. There is our little furnace. Another upgrade in the Empire of Aeternia's quest toward a proper metals working industry. We are on our way for that. Now what I'm actually going to do as well, while we have the little bit of daylight, is I'm going to backfill up around our barrel. That way we get even more insulation around it. And then we should be squared away. And just in time to show you all the whole of the empire. In doing that, I accidentally dug up a big garlic bulb. But we did get a big garlic bulb. Pretty nice. I'll throw it over there. That's another one of the perks of living out here on Talon and Vine Farm. We have a lot of things that are just growing out here. Things that we can actually forage. Not only that we grow ourselves, but that just exist out here naturally that we can get benefit from. And benefit we do. Once again, I'm just breaking up some dirt, packing it around the edges, trying to increase our insulation and provide us more ability to get a nicer, hotter fire in this structure. And it's looking pretty good. Alright, so I think I'm going to call that there for now. We have our furnace upgraded. We're doing good there. It's going to keep growing, keep getting more complex as we go. And I know you guys aren't going to be able to see this too well, but I will take you off of my tripod just to see if you can get a glimpse down into. There we go. And that's what it looks like up inside of our furnace. I have no idea if that worked well or not. Bellamy said Tiff is the GOAT. I completely agree. Greatest of all time. The coolest ever. Certified banger. Sorry, everyone. Accidentally closed my phone. Just got it back up. Okay, so dusting off my gloves, and we're getting ready to go to the hall, as promised. As promised. Okay. Thank you. Everybody do please like the live. It helps us a ton to get more support out here. And to support people like David, the Right of Talon, who have been putting in a lot of hard work and effort. Like Joey, the Vanguard of Hay, who's also been putting in a lot of effort. So now, without further ado, let's go check out the Hall of the Empire. Let's say goodbye to our beautiful field one more time. Great to see all our soybeans out here. What's up? Still locked? Oh, there. Oh, Tiff said she would be so kind as to unlock the hall for us so that we can go in just a second, check everything out. Bellamy said bye-bye field. Bye-bye field. In fact, these soybeans are grown normally for like animal feed, but they are actually pretty good here. I'll go ahead and pick one. These have been growing in our field ever since the summer. So you get a little soybean like that. They're a little crunchy because they're dry, but they're a nice snack. You can come out here, walk, pick a soybean, eat it. It works. I am livestock now. It happened. Confirmed. Okay, so now the hall is a little bit messy, I will be honest with you, but it has been upgraded a little bit, and we have lots more upgrades planned, so get ready for this. Said, do soybeans taste good? They do. David asked if the farmer never came and picked them. He hasn't yet. Still waiting on him to. The farm next door just harvested theirs, so maybe he's still got time. Maybe he's still waiting for them to dry out a little bit. I'm not sure, but it is getting close. Also, I just want to tell you guys, we're getting bigger and bigger in our development of the Hall of the Empire. There's still a lot to be done, still a lot we're doing, but getting to be pretty crazy. All right, I'm going to start by showing you guys the messy bit back here. This is the part you guys normally don't get to see when I do the videos, the updates on our Instagram, our TikTok, YouTube Shorts, things like that. However, it is a part of the hall. Give me 1 second. Let me plug the lights in over in the developed side of the hall. And eventually, we want to get that side well upgraded as well. I want to go through all of those materials you see right there and try to get them set up. So that is just one thing that is going to take a little bit of time, but is well on its way. Okay, now thank you, Bob. Oh, appreciate you. Tiff has been helping me to set up. I greatly appreciate it. She has made the disembarkment of the hall. She is headed out, but I'm excited for the grand reveal. So one of the biggest criticisms, one of the biggest issues with the hall is that it is in a cement building. As you can see, there's all these cement blocks that line the wall. There's kind of green color. It's not bad, but it is a little plain. And so as we are developing the empire, as we're trying to build up effectively a throne room, a place for diplomacy, a place for our citizens to meet, and for ceremonies to be held, for new citizen appointments, for new citizen officiation ceremonies, for government appointments, things like that. There are, and even for just live streams, contact with other foreign officials, diplomats, things like that. We want a place to be able to show off. And so we changed that background a little bit, and we have, I haven't seen on camera before, upgraded it just a little bit. This is something that I want to find a way to make it pop just a little bit more. But we have some new, what do you call this? Some new fabric, some new drapery. We have some new drapery in this beautiful pattern right here, the very fancy pattern. So we have that set up and actually covering this back wall. Now, one of the issues with this is that it makes the, David said, looks a lot warmer. Very nice. Thank you, David. I appreciate that. One of the things that is an issue with it, I will admit, is that, yes, I think David is right. It does look a lot warmer. Now, the issue is we still have these very wild fluorescent lights in here. We may have to try and change and upgrade that a little bit. But the other thing, let's see if I can drop the camera down just so that those aren't in view as much. Pull it forward. There we go. Okay. The other thing with this is that we had the green accent wall, and the green accent wall meant that our browns in our two stands here kind of popped out and were a little more eye-catching. However, now that we have a more brown backdrop, with this drapery, with the beautiful patterned drapery, these stands kind of blend in to the background. So you can see them maybe a little bit, but they don't stand out as much. So what I'd really like to do is to replace these. I think David knows what we will be replacing them with. But if you guys have seen in our 9th founding day ceremony, we had two large, beautiful white pillars. They are wooden pillars. They look like marble or concrete pillars, but they're wood. They're painted white, and I would love. They're about 6-7 feet tall. They're 6'7". They're somewhere about this tall, and so I want to replace this metal and wood with those pillars, and then still have the basket here representing Talon and Vine Farm. And this metal vase representing the tag, and our little bell representing our call to action for our citizens. Tiffany's the keys. Here you go, man. Good luck, bud.
Thanks. Good luck to you.
Thank you. So we want to upgrade this a little more. We're going to keep going. Again, I hope this is nice. I hope this does have a little bit of an upgrade. Gives a more regal flair. David says, you just need a good chair, an official looking one. Absolutely. I would love to make like a throne chair. I think that'd be really cool at some point if we could make like maybe not like the iron throne, but something, really fancy, really decorative. We might even be able to do it out of pallet wood or out of, aluminum as we get into casting more of that, make like some aluminum features for it. We can do a lot of cool stuff, but I think that would be ideal to be able to kind of upgrade it. And again, that kind of goes into, David and I talked a little bit. I've been trying to brainstorm more about how to make not only the Hall of the Empire stand out, but also our nobles, our officials, our citizens even. How to give them things that are nice, that when they're in videos or when they're in official ceremonies and things, maybe they can wear, or that somehow identifies them and helps them stand out as looking really cool and a part of the Empire and being someone different, especially when it comes to someone like Fred, who will be our a recruiter, somebody who will be going out into our community. We want him to be able to show up with pride and say, hey, I'm a citizen of the Empire of Aeternia, and to look very visually distinctive so that when he shows up to places, people know exactly who he is. They say, oh, that's that Aeternian. Oh man, incredible, he's here. So that's what we want here. We are slowly building. We are taking from things that we have found here. We're not going out and buying things. We don't necessarily have the funding to do that. So, this drapery is things that was already here. This was something that we found and that, looks kind of regal and nice. So we've been able to apply that. And eventually we'd like to continue to do more and more with it, upgrade it, make it crazier. But this is a start to hold all of this drapery. So now that we've done that, it should be easy to redo the mounting if we ever want to put up drapery. So just some things to think about, some ways that we have been able to kind of upgrade things and make them a little bit nicer. But we're doing it slowly but surely. We are increasing and expanding and developing what it is that we are doing here in the Empire. And I'm super proud of it. There's a few more things we could do to kind of touch this space up, make it look a little bit nicer. Like I think David brought up just a second ago, and I completely agree, having a nice, more regal chair would be wonderful. Being able to have things that make our citizens and our nobles a little more visually distinctive would be amazing. And being able to continue to add things that are a part of our empire, a part of our culture and our history, more and more to this space will be a big part of it as well. One of those things, which I want to bring up, is here. If you guys remember some of our previous live streams, we were trying to build a treasure chest to hold all of our ingots and our other treasure that we are working on building up, both for the House of Treasure, our economics house as a part of the imperial government, but also because we have this large metalworking industry. It kind of showcases who we are and what we're doing. And as we expand, we'll get more treasure, so we'll be able to put more and more of it into this chest. So I'd like to be able to display that, actually, to show off our axe. If you guys know the story of Odysseus and, kind of our founding myth, so to speak, it is about the arrow of progress, about Odysseus shooting the arrow, stringing his bow, shooting it through the arrow, shooting his arrow through all 7 axe heads, and actually reclaiming his throne. And that is a big part of what we're doing. We are the right people to come in, work hard, and develop our empire. And so, that being the case, our axe to represent that. And so I want to eventually have our treasure chest back here, nicely painted, decorated, and with our spoils in it, our treasure. And then I want to be able to actually sit the axe up on top of it. That way when I'm sitting in whatever the throne chair is that I have, it's a lot more easily shown. When it's back here, a lot of the time when I'm sitting down, you just can't see it in videos and things. If you'll give me just 1 second, I'll be right back. Tiffany is calling. But yeah, so I think that's kind of where we're headed with this. I have started to effectively rebuild the top of the chest. The chest itself is holding together pretty well, but it is made with nails as opposed to screws. Screws would be a little bit sturdier, would allow when it's shifting and moving like a big heavy treasure chest is bound to do, that the pieces don't actually fall apart. Olden treasure chests were built with a lot of nails, and there were big issues with that. And last chests, even as twin screws were invented, they started using screws for building chests, and it works a lot better. So that being the case for the actual lid, I want to rebuild it from scratch. The lid just wasn't working out real well, and so I'll actually upgrade that as building with screws, and then I'll even go to support the actual structure, the body of the chest with screws as well. I'll just show you guys instead of just talking about it. So as you can see, let me drop y'all down a little bit, bring you over here so you can see it. I have taken apart the chest, broken it up into a bunch of different pieces. So I'm going to take that top of the chest, rebuild it, and then we will be able to stain it up, put a lock on it, stuff like that. Make it look nice and fancy and have it be our actual treasure chest, just as another part of us upgrading and developing here in the Empire. So people are saying that there's some lag. Sorry to hear about that, guys. I know that can be a little bit tough here in the stream, especially with the Hall of the Empire being this big brick and concrete building. We want the place that is effectively the headquarters of our empire to be really secure, and so a nice concrete building is great for that, but it also means that we have connectivity issues with our Wi-Fi. So one of the other upgrades we'd like to do at some point is to actually run electricity out here and be able to have a local network here hosted in the hall. That would also allow us to actually run live streams here a little bit better. I could actually run live streams not just off of my phone, but off of allow me to access live software that would give us a lot more improvements. So big things that we can do, a lot of upgrades to be had, but this is where it all starts, right here. We set up the hall, we got some things going, and now we are actually moving forward into upgrades. So as the winter keeps going, as we can do less and less with our crops, less and less with the farm, other than preparing it for the spring, this will probably be where our time goes, into upgrading the hall, into upgrading the other buildings, getting them ready for more and more use. And then as spring comes around, we will be launching off into having more access for citizens, having more projects, being able to make those projects less and less maintenance intensive on us as individuals, because the more time we have to spend upkeeping everything, the less we can expand to those new projects. So all of that will go hand in hand to be able to improve the ways that we use Talon and Vine Farm. And then we hope to take all those lessons and expand them out as we develop our capital territory of Vitae, get more citizens out there, and keep growing our empire. So, with all of that being said, I want to improve the quality of the live stream just a little bit right at the end here. I want to go outside and we can take a look at the sunset together and enjoy that ending and wind down of the stream. But I hope you enjoyed checking out the Hall of the Empire. We'll talk a little bit more as we say goodbye. But let's get to somewhere where there's a little less lag, shall we? Okay, so sneaking out. Walking over to try and take a look at the beautiful sunset that we have out here. Absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. And you can hear the dogs barking, coyotes, dogs and other properties, wild, feral dogs going crazy. And look at that. Absolutely beautiful. Let me see if I can get this chair in the shot. Let's see where I can move us to. I think that's about the sunset. Let me see if I can focus. Okay. And so, here we are, winding down another day in the Empire of Aeternia. It is starting to get a little cool. Like I said, it's winter. Winter is here in the Empire, specifically here at Talon and Vine Farm. That's what this stream was about, trying to showcase to you guys a little bit of what we're doing to say goodbye to the crops that we had growing here in the summer. We were able to benefit from them. We were able to actually cut down on our food costs because of it, because of the foraging we were able to do out here. And we now have opportunities even in the winter to utilize those things. One of the biggest lessons that we have learned from being out here at Talon and Vine Farm is about the seasons. We have only been here for a few months, 3, 4 months. And with that, there is a ton to learn about the spring and summer and what plants grow well, what things are going to be naturally growing that we can forage over those seasons, learning when those times are so that we can make the most of them, gather the most, preserve the most. And then even in the wintertime, when you wouldn't think there's too much opportunity, learning about what is there and learning about how we can make the most of it. Like you saw, we have our beds growing our lettuce. Those are still things that we are able to harvest on. We have a lot lower yield, but as we build more beds, we'll be able to still make quite a large impact on our food costs and eventually be able to become sustainable in our food development, not just in those little plants, but in enough to feed us. Trying to go into more livestock, things like that. That will all help us to reduce our food bill down to zero and eventually make enough food that we can share with our other citizens, that we can eventually sell to the community if it becomes the right venture, and to support our local community. But other than that, I would say one of the biggest things I'm looking forward to as a foraging thing, which you would think again in the winter, what foraging are you really going to do? All along this back fence line, you can probably hardly see it now, but in our videos during the spring and summer, along this fence line there is kudzu everywhere. Kudzu is known as the vine that ate the South. And it is called that because it is an incredibly invasive, an incredibly aggressive vine that digs deep, deep roots into the ground as these large tubers. And the vines are able to grow and develop and expand rapidly during the summer. And then in the winter, the vines die down, the leaves die off, the roots kind of just curl up and maintain their big bunching everywhere. But those tubers, those big roots deep in the ground, are able to still stay alive. And so the next season, those just shoot more plants out, more vines, and they keep expanding. So a way that we can tackle that horrible invasive plant and also get some benefit is by taking it right now when all of those vines died down, going along that fence line and digging up all of those roots, being able to pull it out so that we reduce the amount of kudzu that we get crawling all over our land next year, so we can utilize more of that land, and also being able to provide us in the wintertime something that is a staple food in Asia, to be able to provide for ourselves. So it won't be anything to completely solve our food issues. We'll still have to import a lot of our food. We'll still have to rely on growing lots of crops to help minimize our food imports. But it's another thing that we can do that is just growing out here. That's just something that exists whether we want it to or not, to provide for ourselves. So we'll be able to get that kudzu root. We've already ground down and made some kudzu starch from a little bit of root that we've been practicing with, and hopefully we can add that to stews, things like that as a thickener, make soups with it, make jellies with it. So there's a lot of potential there. Again, I want to thank everybody for being here with me today. Thank you for hanging out with Tiff and I, and again, thank you to Tiff for being here with us and supporting the stream, as well as David, the Right of Talon, for being here. We're doing a lot, and we're moving forward, slowly but surely. So, until next time, Aeternia forever!